Okay, everybody please welcome Mr. Nam from SSC ขอเสียงปรบมือต้อนรับคุณนามเลยค่ะและทางนี้ก็มาช่วยแปล SSC ได้แบบคล่องแคล่วมากนะคะ
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nam or Nathan. You guys maybe all know me because I'm on the live group US. So today, my job will be reviewed like the year 2017 interview of Hsc, and then there will be a stock pick from Hsc view, and which sector that we think that you guys should pay attention on. So our quick review. Right, at the moment, like the Vietnam index, it already break 800, and last week even reached like nearly 10 years high at 820. Even the more optimistic investor at the beginning of this year can't believe this. That the best bet is maybe the market this year, if everything is good, may reach 780s. That is the guess for the end of this year. But then, the market in Vietnam just keep booming. And then despite there are many things like the bad thing like ROS or SAB manipulation, there's one real thing is that there are real improvement in the market. You can see that when you're trading in Vietnam through the liquidity, in the past, in one trading day, the volume at peak is only about 2,000 million Vietnam dong. But in this year, for one trading day, 4,000 billion Vietnam dong per day is very normal. And even in some day, it may reach 5,000 billion Vietnam dong. It's almost double the average liquidity in the market. So what is the main driving force of the markets this year? I would say it's because of the cheap money in the market. What is the cheap money? For those who already invest in Vietnam, you guys can notice that Vietnam investors take advantages of quite a lot of the margin. For example, for those blue chip stocks such as Vinamilk, Sabeco, Mobile World, the margin lending can reach to a rate of 3.37. That means you guys can only have one money and you guys can buy 3.3 Vinamilk. That is quite a lot. And the foreign flow this year has seen a big improvement as well. Just like last year, when HPG increased more than 100% from January 2016 to July 2016, many of the foreign funds have divested and caused like a short downtrend last year. But this year, even now, it's only October, but we still see like the net buy from the foreign investor. In 2017, the trend is based on the big stock, state-owned stock listed on both Upcom and SSX, such as Petrolimex, PLX, or like HVN, or which is ICV on like the Upcom. And next year, the focus will still be on the state-owned stock, such like Ideco Group, or Vina Chemical and Taco. And we expect that from October to the end of December, the top 70 for the year 2017 EPS will jump around 20.5%. If we look at some data, some estimation from some big world organization like World Bank, IMF, you can see that like the prediction for the growth of Vietnam market is still quite stable and it's only increased slightly this year. The World Bank expect that in 2017, Vietnam GDP will increase by 6.3%, while the plan of the government is to increase by 6.8%. And HSC thinks that the more reasonable number will be around 6.1 only for this year. So as you see, right now there is still room to grow for like the Vietnam economy, and I think Next year, maybe not as great this year, but the rate will still be kept at a stable rate. This one is a chart about the retail growth in Vietnam. For the 9th month of 2017, its growth is more than 40% of the same period. This one can be illustrated by the growth in those retail stocks / mobile world, or those like FPT, PNG. Those are they grow really fast this year. The next one is a PMI index. For those who may not know this index, this one is Purchasing Manager Index. What is showing? This one will show if the manufacturer in Vietnam, they still keep expanding or not. The rate over 50 showing that the manufacturer in Vietnam has keep expanding for the last 21 months. And the liquidity surplus, as I have said, because the liquidity have increased a lot, the market has seen a very big growth of more than 20% since the beginning of this year, and the total credit is still at a very low compared to the ability to the solvency of the market. The blue one is solvency, and the red one is the credit. This chart is the foreign capital. You can see that the foreign capital continue to flow into the stock market to support the market. Here, the VN index is the purple line, and the blue line is the money flow of the foreign investor. As you may see, as the time when there is a withdrawal of the foreign capital, there always been an adjustment in the Vietnam index, and when there's strong support of the foreign capitals, they always a delay, but then the markets will keep going up. So that is our view about the Vietnam market this year, and maybe in the Q1 next year. The next part, I will talk about 3 sectors that Hsc thinks that will gain most in the next period. The first one is banking sector. As many may know, after the 2008, the big crisis, the financial crisis, the Vietnam market made many trouble, especially in 2011 and 2012, where the interest rate go over 20%. The interest rate for the bank go over 20%, and it's completely a disaster. What happened is the bank, when they see the interest rate go very high, they keep lending and lending and lending to those who can't pay back. So the consequence is the bad debt, the non-performing loans. So the non-performing loans has caused the decrease in many stock performance, just like especially STB Sacombank used to be the #1 commercial bank in Vietnam, the #1 private commercial bank in Vietnam. But this year, there is one big change in the policy of dealing with the bad debt of Vietnam, is that the bank now may sell their collateral under its book value. In the past, when the borrower can't pay back, the bank can only sell the collateral for the price at least equal to the book value of the collateral. But now, the government has to agree that, okay, now there is many banks. If you don't let them sell the collateral with the price they want, there will be no way they can solve the bad debt. That's why in 2017 the government has agreed with this thing. And as you may see in this slide, there is some banks are listed on the stock market, such as BID and STB, have such a big net non-performing loan, especially STB. And the STB are the loans directly related to the company efficiency as well as the profit. Those who have those who have a big non-performing loan usually will have very little profit. Just like STB, they don't even have a 1,000 Vietnam dong profit in 2014 and 2015. And the STB, for the case of STB, at the peak, the non-performing loans even reaching 30% of their total loans. So with the new policy, those who have resolved all the bad debt will have more advantages. Why? Because they can buy the bad debt from those banks who still have a lot, and they can resolve it for them to get the profit. In those one, you guys may notice 3 banks is MBB, VCB, and ACB. Those 3 are those that have very little bad debt compared to their size. For ACB, their bad debt level is like under 10,000 billion, and like it's only when it converts to percentage, it's only from 1.5 to 2% bad debt only. For MBB, this number will vary from 2.5% to 3%, and for VCB, at some point, it's not even, for VCB at some point, it's only like around 3 or 3.5%, why they are the biggest bank in Vietnam. For like the positive impact on the bank with low bad debt ratio, we will recommend you guys to look at 3 stocks is ACB, MBB, and VCB. What detail we should pay attention more to those 3 banks? For ACB, the first thing is like they have been divested by non-grade. Their second largest foreign investor, 65 million shares have been sold last week. So they will have a very big room to grow. Because in the past, Standard Chartered and Concord, they hold more than 20% of the bank, and they just keep the price they bought is nearly 40. So they keep the price of and so the locals keep the price of ACB under 30. So the Standard Chartered, they can't divest. But right now, because their investment horizon has ended, so they have to withdraw from ACB at all costs. This one will be a big chance for ACB for those who are interested in ACB to buy in. The second one is MBB. MBB can say they are at their peak because this year revenue and profit have increased more than 75% compared to 2016, and they have expanded their network not only in Vietnam but in Cambodia and Laos as well, because this one is a backup bank by the military of Vietnam. They have very strong backup. The third one is VCB. VCB is a different story. VCB also have one big foreign investor is Mizuho Bank from Japan. And this bank also have an intention to divest from Vietnam in the last 3 or 4 years. That is the reason why the VCB bank have been kept at a level between 35 to 40,000 Vietnam dong for 3 years straight, despite their very impressive financial research. With like Hsc very conservative valuation right now, VCB value may reach over 50. And for those who have the big non-performing loans, with the new policy, you will see here those 2 biggest is BID and STB. For those 2, with the price right now, can we say is undervalued? Those who like more risky stock may choose to take BID and STB because those 2, they have a very big amount of non-performing loan with a large value collateral. And they still have room for foreigners, not like ACB, MBB. And one stock I would say, I would not recommend the investor to look at the CTG because this one, despite its size, is the 3rd largest bank in Vietnam. They have almost no growth in the retail growth. And even in a very good year, their revenue growth is only about 10% compared to 75% of MBB, 30% of VCB. This is the end. This is like the of the banking sector. The next one I will cover is are a finance firm of a security company. Many may know that this year is the first year that Vietnam stock market have applied like the derivative market. The first product is future on VN30. So for like many investors ask me that how can I get the profit equal to the market return? Because the market return of like the Vietnam market is very high, especially the VN index group. For our calculation, since like January 2017 to 15 of August 2017, the VN index have increased 21.38%. This is a very impressive number. It's outperformed 4% compared to the number of 17 of the VN index. So right now, like with like the implication of derivative with the future and cover warrant, if we look at the case of other markets, similar market like in Hong Kong, in Thailand, in Korea, the cover warrant and the future will increase the liquidity of the market a lot. And in some market like Korea, like the liquidity of like the derivative market, especially for like the cover warrant and future, even at like 150% compared to like the stock market. So besides like before the derivative, the securities companies only can get profit from the stock brokerage, from the fees. Second is from the bond brokerage. Third is for the corporate finance and investment divisions. Next year, with the establishment of the derivative market, the profit of like the security stock will the profit of security company will increase at a very high level. This year, with thus like the establishment of the derivative market, Hsc or HCM, our company, have finished their annual plan after 8 months. ASI have finished their plan after 9 months, and SHS, another security company, finished their financial plan just after 7 months. To look into more detail, we can see the total market cap compared to GDP of Vietnam is still at very low level compared to like other Southeast Asia country. Vietnam right now is already at like 30%. Why? Compared to Thailand, is already at 105%. The foreign over the total market volume is still not very high. It's only 60% compared to Thailand. The total market volume, I already mentioned before, have increased quite a lot this year. Here is some key metrics of the security company. We mentioned HCM, SI, VND, and VCSC, just listed on the stock market like last July. For the ROE, you can see that like the average ROE for the stock brokerage firm varies from 14 of HCM to the high of 32% of VCSC. It's very high, and the EPS. For those like security stock, I would say choosing HCM and SI would be a top pick for us because those two companies have all the condition to testing on the derivatives such as the future and cover warrant. And just one more additional information is from November 2017, the derivative will start to get in fees. In the last 3 months, there is no commission fees for trading derivative. But since like November this year, there will be fees for that. The next one we will cover is the automobile sector. For the Thailand market, when the Toyota get in and build like the factory there, the shipping of the country have grown a lot, and that's also the dream of Vietnam. The Vietnamese dream that one day they may get the car with the cheap price with the car manufacturing 100% from Vietnam. But then now to 2017, we still can't do that. Vietnam still only assembling the car, but not manufacturing. So with like the free trade agreement with Southeast Asia country, until 2018, the special tax on car will be reduced to 0% from the very high level before. This will be a very big change for those like listed company of the auto sector. The first one here on slide is 7 company that from the auto sector that listed on Vietnam Stock Exchange. I will go one by one. For the first two, TMT and HTL, those two are mainly selling truck. And they in the past they import like for TMTs like Tata from India, and for HTL is the Hino from China. Those one they make computer at Taco Vietnam. They haven't been listed yet, but those two even listed compared to Taco is very small. They already have very small position with a limited market in the north of Vietnam. The next two one is the H&S and TCH Hoan Huy Group. For those who interested in this stock, one word I would say is never invest in H&S and TCH. Never invest in those two, Hoan Huy and TCH. Those stocks, even despite a very promising financial research, they are infamous in the eyes of local investors for price changing and price manipulating. The H&S have a fall from 20 to 4 just in 6 months because Mr. Chairman have shifted the profit from H&S to TCH. This one is, those two is, they have a very good financial performance. We will never recommend those two. The next one is HIX, the distributor of Mercedes that we have visited yesterday. The Mercedes-Benz market in Vietnam had 3 distributors. The first one is Vietnam Star, the second one I can't remember the name, and the third one is HIX. Each of them take like around 30 to 35% of the market share, and the HIX is their main markets in Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. Those company has one big characteristic, that is the rebate. They must sell the products, they must like import a lot of products just to get the profit. This one may vary by year, just like what you heard yesterday, because for example, the C series, they have a completely different rebate system from the S series of the Mercedes. So to buy this stock, it will be you need a very careful attention to their purchasing policy. The next one, Savico. Savico is the biggest like retailer. They take the 10% of VAMC retail in Vietnam. Their main products is Toyota, Hyundai, and Ford. What is interesting about Savico? Right now, Savico may have a divestment from their parent company, Bến Thành Group, because the Bến Thành Group have to be listed on the stock exchange next year, so the government forced the company to divest from Savico. And the Savico is the Savico, they already have almost no free float. The reason why is because all of the fund have buy in Savico, and even like those free float left keep by like the local, no one want to sell this stock. This one have very high performance, financial performance over the last 10 years with a good governance. I would say one more like one more information is like the chairman of Savico. He used to be the chairman of like the Volvo Asia. Volvo Vietnam, and he's also the former chairman of Ford Vietnam. So he has very experience in expanding the market. And the next one is the Ford Vietnam CTF. CTF is only one in Vietnam. Ford is distributed by many companies. But CTF is the one that dominates the Vietnam, the Ho Chi Minh City market. When they take more than 30% of the Ho Chi Minh Ford market. For Ford, they have one big policy is one Ford, one world. That means around the world, Ford only have one policy about maintenance, about the pricing system, and about the reward for the rebate. This is the stock. This is company on the auto sector, and so just look at this slide for the overall idea I will share with you guys. Next year, when the tax going low with the 2.0 liters car, those who get the most benefit will be those who sell the smaller car, such as CTF and Savico. And next year, the automobile market also sees the gold listed of two very big companies is VIM, V-E-A-M, and Taco. Taco is a distributor of the Kia Morning and Mazda. And VIM is they mainly focus on a semi-truck and truck. So the stock pick I would recommend for your watch list next year will be Savico, HAX, VIM, and Taco Junghai. The next part, also outlast recommend sector is aeronautics. Aeronautics in Vietnam gain a lot of attention from international investors. I have heard many questions about some names like ACV, SCS, SGN, Vietjet Air, or Vietnam Airlines. So in this slide, I would cover only three stocks that I think that will be most suitable for the foreign investor at this moment. The first one is the ACV, the second one is Vietjet Air, and the third one is Vietnam Airlines. For the aeronautics, aeronautics sector in Vietnam, it's going to be said that it's purely a monopoly game. ACV, talking about ACV, they are like the holding company of all the service company at every airport in Vietnam. They have no single competitor. And the government haven't had any policy to let anyone have to compete with them. All of those stocks that you interested in, like SAS, SCS, SGN, are all of the affiliate. They are all the affiliate of ACV. One big information about ACV that I should mention is from October 2017. They can increase their fee for more than 7%. They may increase the fee charged on the client more than 7% for both flight service and non-flight service. Next year, the government plan to increase more than 7% next year. So in next 1 year and a half, ICV will see at least an increase of 15% in the fees collecting, not counting the increase in the volume of the passenger in Vietnam. For ICV, in the revenue, they have two things. We can split it is flight and non-flight. For flight is mainly for the takeoff and landing management, and for non-flight is maybe a freight, airport security, more retailing at the airport. Compared to other countries, this ratio of ICV is quite disappointing. The ratio between flight and non-flight of ICV is around 70% is from flight service and 30% is from non-flight service. Compared to the regional top airport like Changi or Bangkok, this ratio for Changi is more than one. The non-flight is nearly 80%, and for Bangkok is still 65%. It is very high. Why ICV, with a very large growth in passenger, they cannot charge a very high fees for, they cannot get much profit from the non-flight, and this is very, it's a bit upsetting for the investor. But from next year, with like the increase in the both fees from the fly and non-fly and their and with like the buy-in of like the strategic investor, maybe this will be there will be a big change in ACV. One information is that ACV may be listed on the HNX since this November. The second one is the VZ Air. VZ Air may be the fastest growing company in like aeronautics area in Vietnam. They are just within a few years, they have taken nearly 40% of the domestic market from the domination in the past of Vietnam Airlines. About the vision, the VZ Air, they don't aim to the current passengers of HVN, but they aim to the first-time travel clients. What does it mean? Because in the past, for the locals normally will choose train or like bus or like coach to travel across the country. And this is a very time-consuming and costly. It's a very time-consuming and costly compared to like the low-cost carrier. Before that, in Vietnam, we only have like the Z-Star as a low-cost carrier, but similarly they're not very successful. The VZ Air, when they get into the market, they use one very big different like strategy is sales and leaseback. What is sales and leaseback? Sales and leaseback is they shine with like the provider of the airplane like Boeing and Airbus to get many brands at once to get a big discount. Then they will sell it back to some airplane lender. This one can be seen as a swap. It's a swap of like the money flow. This one is a swap of the cash flow of the company. The company may sell the cost in short term to get the market share, as well as sell the cost of like the big financial burden in a chance that they will have to pay back later. This one is the main reason why the VZ Air have very good like financial performance in the last few years. For 2016, more than 40% of its profit is just from sales and leaseback, and this year it decreased a little, but still not above 50%. These strategies have one problem, is that if they can't grow anymore, one day, as we calculate is after 8 years, if they can't reach 60% of the market share in Vietnam, this sales leaseback will make a diminishing. This sales leaseback will hit them back, and like their profit will see a big disaster after 8 years if they can get the market share of 60%. And for HVN is Vietnam Airlines. HVN and VZ Air, they have kind of a very different approach to the market. With the VZ Air, they aim to become a low-cost carrier, give like a cheap traveling solution to the domestic population. But for Vietnam Airlines, they aim to become a full-service carrier. In the last 3 months, we see a very large decrease in the price of HVN. The reason is because of the exchange rate, because of like the exchange rate exposure. But then, with like the review from Hsc in September, Hsc also ranked HVN as outperform. The reason why? The reason is the company has just signed a contract with Air France to expand their network in Arab country market. In the past, the Vietnam Airlines have very limited like their flight network. Their main Arab market will be only Berlin, UK, and Paris. But now, with the support of Air France, this network will be expanded. The Vietnam Airlines, one more additional information is that to catch up with VZ Air, they start to use they start to use sales and leasebacks since 2017. So the investment idea for the aeronautics sector will be the Vietnam market still have a big room to grow with our client with like the increase of a non-flight revenue for both like the ACV and Vietjet Air. The new flight and new routes. Right now, those local brands like Vietjet Air and Vietnam Airlines, they haven't really expand their flight network. Just like Vietjet Air, their network right now is just mainly focused in Vietnam and only 20% is from international flight. And their flights is only to Bangkok, Singapore, and Hong Kong. It is their three main international destination. Next year, the plan of Vietjet Air is to expand into to further place to more places in Southeast Asia country and as well as the China market. And one more addition is that about the Long Thanh New International Airport. Long Thanh New International Airport has been approved. The plan has been approved, and they have planned that will start building in 2019 in Long Thanh, Dong Nai province. This one will be because like right now in big airport like Tân Sơn Nhất Airport, Da Nang Airport, and Nội Bài Airport, like they're already working at their full capacity. This will be a limit for the growth of like the local brands such as Vietjet Air and Vietnam Airlines. The Tân Sơn Nhất Airport right now, they are working at their like 130 to 140 capacity, while the Da Nang is at 1%, just after 2 years of the expansion of the airport at Da Nang. And on airport like Cát Bi Airport in Vietnam, the capacity is now US 160% as well. So you may see that like the airport in Vietnam is already overcrowded, and the establishment of the new airport is a need. And this will be beneficial for all the company in the aeronautics sector, especially ACV, because they will be the one who manage the Long Thanh project. This is like the Hsc long-term stock. This is Hsc long-term stock pick enlisted and upcom that we just shortened for you guys from like the Hsc Research Center. And this one, in this table, we just summarize all the recommendations from Hsc since the beginning of this year. Since the beginning of this year, Hsc had recommended to buy for ACB, for MBB, for KBC, for PVT, HPG, IMP, and Masang. Out of the all those buy stock, almost all of them except KBC have gained more than 30% since the beginning of this year. And I think our Hsc Research Center will be a very valuable source for you guys to invest in the Vietnam market. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, please give me.
ช่วยยกมือหน่อยทำไมวันนี้ไม่ค่อยมีคำถามเลยเมื่อวานเห็นถามกันรัวๆ SBC
เป็นมีคอนดิชั่นของโอโว่ใช่ไหม
เคยทำงานเคยเป็นแชร์แมนอยู่วอลโว่เวียดนาม
พอโอโว่โดนปิดไปแล้วมันมีโอกาสที่โอโว่จะเข้ามาตีตลาดเวียดนามแล้วก็ให้ SBC เป็นดิสติบิวเตอร์ไหมครับ For SBC you said that the chairman used to be a chairman of Volvo Vietnam, right? And now really has taken over Volvo, and it has been doing very well in China. I'm just wondering, is there news on Volvo coming into Vietnam market?
Right now, the Volvo is like distributed, like Savico also the official distributor of Volvo Vietnam. Right now, like before that, Volvo is only like distributed by those like a company like Mobile and by the booking because Volvo they haven't like export like officially to Vietnam. But now like the Savico have established a new company named like North Ever to distribute Volvo in Vietnam market, and Mr. Chairman is the one who Mr. Chairman he used to be the head of the company that imports Volvo before, and he used to be the head of like the Ford Vietnam before as well. So it's a very like I think they are very experienced in this sector.
And can you go over DXT a little more?
Sorry?
DXT. It's in the slide. It said DXT is a wild card. I'm just wondering what story behind it.
So like as you may see in the real estate sector, we have very sub names like VIC, NLG, and KBC. Those one is belong to very different sector. VIC is for premium sector, NLG is for affordable housing, and KBC is for industrial park, real estate. For DHG, what are they doing? They are doing both social housing and like mid-end real estate. The reason why they are a wild card is because their governance is a big question. DHG governance is a big question. They have their land bank can rank in their sector. Their land banks can is very large, and in the mid-end sector they are ranked second, just behind Nam Long Group. But then their stock performance is always very questionable. At some period, they increased from 10 to 22 and then dropped from 22 to 17 in a very short period. And that is the reason why we always put the white card to the DSG.
ท่านอื่นมีคำถามเพิ่มไหมคะ เวลายังเหลืออีก10-20ประมาณ20นาทีนะคะพวกสไลด์ตรงนี้นี่คือเต๋าก็ส่งในไลน์กรุ๊ปแล้วนะคะแล้วก็ปกติก็จะอัปโหลดใน Google Drive อีกทีนะคะก็ไปโหลดได้เชิญพี่ก้องถาม
Okay, let me ask in English. So many buys. So if you have to pick only 3 stocks, okay? Only 3 stocks, and give me just 1 or 2 reasons to buy each one among all these buys.
So you want my personal like?
Yeah, you can go.
Because this one is like Hsc's stock pick, not my stock pick.
Okay, that would be.
So if I have to pick 3 out of all of those stocks, I would pick the first one is ACV. The reason is I already mentioned is ACV is a monopoly in airport management, and in Vietnam there will be only a slim chance that this thing will be changed. So in the next 2 years, ACV future will be very promising. One more idea is it sounds a little bit not very fundamental. If you know on the HNX market, there one stock is ROS and Sabago. Those stocks are used to manipulate the market, to keep the market not decreasing, to keep the market like always at a high level. You might check Sabago since the beginning of this year, that the stock have increased from 200 to 270. And for Ross have been increased from 10,000 to the height of like 170, then drop back to 90, then increase again to 120. So I would say the market maker in Vietnam use those two stocks just to manipulate the market. And the Sabago stock have what information is that they will be having the investment from the government this year or next year. So when you have a divestment from Sabago, what will happen? The thing that will happen is the price will be adjusted to their real value. And with like the estimation, with like the valuation of Hsc in the beginning of this year, Sabago only worth around 190s, and later update for many company, The valuation for of Sabeco, normally those stock brokerage firm, Sabeco is around 220 only, compared to the highs at around 260 right now. And Ross one day they cannot use it forever for like something like a blue chips. They use a blue chip and like a keeper of the market. So ACV, this design is very promising financial performance. With their large market capitalization, it will be used as an exchange for Sabeco for the net manipulation use. So the reason why I buy ACV is both for the new policy about increase in the fee of the 7% this year and maybe 7% next year on ACV financial performance, and the second one is used as a manipulation tool, a tool of the market leaders. The second stock that I will choose will be FPT. FPTs are this year they have finally they have divest from the FPT retail and they divest from FPT trade as well. FPT retail is like the company that manage the FPT shop. Compared to the mobile world, FPT shop seems like they have no chance to compete in this market in the mobile phone retail market. So I think like with the action that like FPT divest from the retail sector, they will have more capital to invest in their main business in telecom and more software and hardware like part of their business. Just to like mention, there's a very big difference in PE valuation between technology stock and retail stock. If FPT keep being listed as a retail stock, it will never be a good story for the company because they will be always compared to the mobile world. Why? In fact, their revenue and profit come from this retail is only around 20 to 30. Their profit is only about 20 to 30% of their profit is from the retail sector, while 70% is from more of the technology field. So from divesting from like the retail sector will be may change the concept of the company from the view of like the investor from the retail company to like the technology company to get a higher PE. The third stock that I would pick would be AAA, Alpha Plastic. Alpha Plastic is, as Kuman says, in Vietnam, there is no single real competitor of like the Alpha Plastic. What they're doing is they're doing those recycled plastic, and the main market is to export to Korea and Japan. And why I would choose Alpha Plastic? One reason is because of the company you guys will meet this afternoon, HII. You guys will meet this afternoon. HII is the affiliate of AAA, and HII. What should mention about this company is that their EPS growth is very impressive. If they can meet their plan, their EPS right now for like 2017 will be 5,500. Compared to the PE of the price of 36,000 right now, the PE is only about 7. And to the plan, the EPS will grow more than 20% per year. So by controlling more than 40% of like HII, I will get a lot of like profit from their affiliate. The reason and like the Vietnam, in many supermarkets there is one policy that like we are revising. That's like stop using the plastic bag. Stop using the plastic bag. When people stop using the plastic bag, the demand for like the recycled bag will increase, and as one of the only solution, IAs will get a lot of benefit from this. Just one more information is that like right now it's already a trend in like district 2 of Vietnam, the hub of like foreign and like more affluent people in Ho Chi Minh City live. all of like the supermarket have changed from like the plastic bag to the like the recycled plastic bag, and the Mart they already plan to change to like abolish like the plastic bag, and that will be a very big change in like the consumer behavior, and I may meet this demand. That is my three stock pick if I look at this list.
พี่ก้องพอใจกับสามตัวนี้ไหมคะแล้วในใจพี่ก้องนี่ตัวไหนคะ
That's okay. And if may I ask another question, you talk about the banks, and you said that the government changed want to buy collateral for the bank, and one of the trade you suggest is to buy basically the worst bank because they can sell the non-performing loan collateral, right? But I understand that the government also have the budget issue. So because when you buy collateral from banks, basically you are giving away money. So why would I understand BIDV because government has positioned it and it's a big bank, but why would they help Sacombank? Any thoughts?
About Sacombank, like okay, this one is my view, not HSC view. This one I have to mention. This one is my view, not HSC view, because for STB, HSC ranking is downgrade. The STB have been downgraded to underperform for quite a long period of time. For STB, why we would say the company have a chance to increase the price of the company is because here STB they have a very Here, as you can see, the non-performing loans of STB, if just counting type 4 to 5 is already like more than 12%, and if they count all type of bad debt, it's reached more than 27% of their total debt. So the company, why STB is maybe worth to take a look, is because their collateral is mainly real estate. The collateral of STB is mainly real estate. Real estate in Vietnam, so just after 5 years, the value of the collateral of real estate of STB have increased quite a lot. And if they can really resolve this issue, they will get a big profit just from their non-performing loan. This is one of the reasons why Daniel Chairman, Mr. Yoon Kong-min, the leader of Him Lam Group, buy the company. People aim to let the real estate as a collateral of STB. They don't aim for like the retail or like the banking sector of the company. So STB, I would say, if you guys want to invest, just invest less than 5% of your total portfolio as some diversification. Because STB, for sure, their financial performance is the worst compared to other banks. For BID, it is a different story. BID has two problems. The first one is BIDV, they belong to the group of the bank, have to follow the Basel II. They are the bank, have to follow the Basel II. But then they don't. When you mention like the Basel II, you will remember the number 8%. 8% of equity. What is this number? The number 8% about? The 8% are, if you guys are already invest in the banking sector, those who work in the bank right now have to keep like the total of equity of like the preference share and of like the exchange bond as 8% of the total credit, just to keep the bank always have a net share. Also this one, for BIDV, this ratio is right now is under 8%, and they need more fund. So the BID, like they still have the room for foreign investor, but they haven't got any strategic partner interest in them yet. There's one company, just the news last week, in Hana. Hana already agreed to buy more than 8%, I'm not sure the correct number, of BID. And BID have already resolved 1,000 billion of bad debts, have already have agreement to solve 1,000 billion of bad debt last week as well. as first step of the policy I already mentioned. This is the reason why I would say BID and STB will be a very risky pick. But if they're really successful with like a bad debt resolve, the stock will increase really a lot.
ขอคำถามเพิ่มได้ไหมคะ
What do you think about VP Bank?
VP Bank? VP Bank, this one, I feel like why we don't list it on the bank. The first reason is because they only listed for 2 months. The second is because it would not be fair for them to list them as a bank, even they are a bank. Because the growth of the VP Bank mainly related to the FE credit. The FE credit of the VP Bank is main growth because if you see it's like the increase in the revenue and profit of VP Bank, no bank over there can compete with them. But in my opinion, I want to say about the good thing of VP Bank because maybe you already know. I just get one idea from our research. One of my idea about VP Bank that you should notice is their way of getting new loan in Vietnam is very questionable. The way they give our loans to individual loan is very questionable. I only try. I use a national ID of my friend to get a small loan from VP Bank, and they don't even know if that's me or not. And I still can get the loans like very easily. Like, and I don't even sign any paper. I just call to like the workers at the VP Bank and say, okay, I need some money. Like I have like an ID, I have some like a salary book, something like that. Can I get a loan? Like so normally like for the individual loan without collateral, the maximum the bank can give you maybe like 4 times to 5 times of your monthly salary. But then VP Bank that time may give you 8 to 10 of the book. What does it mean? That means if I can get that, many people can get that as well. And I'm not sure about the audit company. Will they say that will they see the off-balance sheet of the VP Bank or not? I would not say there will be a problem because on the book they are very clean. There's no problem yet. But from my experience, I would say you should pay more attention to like the experience with VP Bank. You should ask more locals who have like worked with VP Bank to get information if you plan to invest in them in the long term.
Last question. On FPT, you said there is a potential of being related as a technology company.
Yes.
From what I understand, when we talk about technology company, we tend to think about something that is scalable, like Google, Amazon, Facebook, and things like that. From my understanding, FPT is more like a hardware company and outsourcing company. So I'm not really sure we're going to get similar premium as those formation companies.
Yeah, totally agree. When we mention the technology firm, we will think more about like more innovating solution, like technology innovating solution. But then FPT are in the world, like in the group of technology, there is a lot of sector. And just like you said, innovating something like innovating solution is one of the technology part. Because for like the software and the hardware company and the telecom company, their PE compared to retail is always on average higher. So they don't need to be an innovating solution. They just need to be an outsourcing or hardcore or software or hardware in the eyes of the investor. It's already checked the perception about the company. Because 70% of the company is from that sector. Why people keep looking at the retail company and compare them to mobile world, right? Because mobile world and FPT shop, they have completely different. But for the last few years, whenever people mention about FPT in Vietnam, local investor, they always think FPT as their competitor to mobile world.
ค่ะก็จากที่ฟังนะคะก็สรุปได้ประมาณ 4-5 ประเด็นนะคะ ข้อแรกกลุ่มแรกที่เขาพูดก็คือกลุ่มแบงค์นะคะแม้ว่าปีนี้กลุ่มแบงค์เวียดนามจะโตดีนะคะแต่ก็ยังมีความเสี่ยงเยอะเรื่องเครดิตโกรธตามชาร์ตที่แสดงอยู่ตอนนี้นะคะเขาพูดถึงตัวไซเคิลแบงค์ที่เคยเป็นแบงค์ขนาดหนึ่งแต่ว่าก็แบบมี NPL ที่สูงมากนะคะตอนนี้แบบก็ไม่มีกำไรนะคะแล้วก็พูดถึงตัว ACB ซึ่งก็ถ้าดูตรงนี้ก็จะ NPL น้อยเมื่อเทียบกับหนี้ศูนย์นะคะซึ่งเขาก็เหมือนเป็นหนึ่งในท็อปพิกแล้วก็พูดถึงMBB ที่มีเน็ตเวิร์กที่ดีแล้วก็ BCB นะคะที่เติบโตสูงแล้วก็มีญี่ปุ่นมีแบงก์ญี่ปุ่นช่วยนะคะประเด็นที่2เขาพูดถึงปีนี้ที่ตลาดหุ้นเวียดนามเนี่ยแบบเติบโตดีแต่ชนิดขึ้นมา800สุดนะคะเขาพูดถึงตัวกลุ่มโบรกเกอร์นะคะซึ่งก็อาจจะได้รับผลประโยชน์แล้วก็ออกแนวเชียร์ของ SSC นะคะ SCM แล้วก็ตัว SSI โดยที่เขาคิดว่าตัวปัจจัยที่จะเป็นตัวได้อย่างหนึ่งก็คือตอนนี้ก็เริ่มมีderivative นะคะมีฟิวเจอร์เพิ่งของเวียดนามเพิ่งจะมีเริ่มฟิวเจอร์ปีนี้นะคะช่วงแรกเนี่ยเขาจะเปิดให้ใช้ฟรีก่อนแต่ว่าเดี๋ยวสักพักเขาก็จะเริ่มเก็บค่าธรรมเนียมนะคะเขาก็มีความหวังตัวนี้ต่อมาก็คือเป็นเรื่องของรถยนต์นะคะเขาก็มองว่าเนี่ยเป็นความฝันของคนเวียดนามเลยที่แบบอยากได้รถยนต์ราคาถูกเพราะว่าแบบถ้า Toyota Honda ตอนนี้ราคาแบบแพงกว่าไทยประมาณสัก30-40% นะคะเป็นอย่างต่ำซึ่งปีหน้าเนี่ยภาษีรถยนต์นำเข้าที่เนี่ยถ้าในกลุ่มประเทศอาเซียนด้วยกันเนี่ยจะเป็น0จากเคยแบบ30อะไรเงี้ยแล้วก็ลดลงมาจะเหลือ0แต่ก็มีแบบบางคนก็คอมเมนต์นะคะว่าเหลือ0แต่ก็อาจจะแบบรัฐบาลก็อาจจะออกกฎอะไรเป็นพวกเหมือนภาษีสินค้าฟุ่มเฟือยอะไรเพิ่มขึ้นมาก็ต้องลองดูปีหน้านะคะทำให้ช่วงนี้แบบยอดขายรถยนต์เนี่ยถ้าเป็นทุกเจ้านะคะก็ดอกประชาชนก็ชะลอตัวนะคะเพื่อจะรอดูภาษีปีหน้าหุ้นที่เขาแนะนำเนี่ยก็จะมีที่แบบให้ลองจับตาดูนะคะก็เป็น SVC ซึ่งเขาก็บอกว่า SVC Savico เนี่ยก็คือขาย Toyota Hyundai Ford นะคะซึ่งปัจจัยตัวหนึ่งเนี่ยเพราะว่าเขาจะมีเดิมจะมีเป็นฐานกรุ๊ปถือหุ้นอยู่แล้วก็จะมีเป็นไดเวสแบ่งสัดส่วนนะคะปัจจุบัน SVC ตัว Savico เนี่ยไม่ค่อยมีสภาพคล่องนะคะทั้งที่แบบมีผัดไฮของแบรนด์แต่ว่าก็ส่วนหนึ่งก็เป็นเพราะว่ากองทุนถือด้วยแต่ตัวซาบิโก้ต้องดูด้วยนะคะเพราะเขาทำหลายอย่างบางทีก็แบบมีตัวช้อปปิ้งมอลล์บางทีก็มีศูนย์การประชุมจัดเลี้ยงอะไรเงี้ยมันก็อาจจะไม่ใช่แบบเป็นดีลเลอร์รถยนต์โดยตรงแล้วก็สำหรับคนที่ชอบแบบหวือหวาหน่อยอะไรอย่างเงี้ยก็ลองมีตัว SSS กับ TCS นะคะซึ่งเขาไม่แนะนำเนาะเพราะว่าเหมือนแบบผู้บริหารเนี่ยแบบเหมือนไล่ราคากันอยู่2หุ้นแบบเหมือนเป็นแบบเอากำไรเจ้านี้มาใส่เจ้านี้อะไรเงี้ยนะคะเหมือนราคาตัว SSS เนี่ยก็จาก 20,000 ดอกเป็น4อะไร 4,000 ดอกอะไรประมาณนั้นเพราะว่าการโยกย้ายกำไรไปมานะคะต่อมาก็พูดถึงกลุ่มMonopoly Game นะคะซึ่งเป็นกลุ่มเกี่ยวกับสายการบินแล้วก็ธุรกิจการบินนะคะเขาก็พูดถึง ACV นะคะซึ่งแบบปีนี้ตัวค่าธรรมเนียมแอร์พอร์ตเนี่ยทั้งแบบบนนันไฟแล้วก็ไฟเนี่ยก็เพิ่มขึ้นนะคะกว่า 7% แล้วก็ตัวเวียดเจ็ตเองที่มีคอนเซ็ปต์ list and sell and list back นะคะที่จะมา support แล้วก็ตัวเวียดนามแอร์ไลน์ซึ่งตอนนี้ก็กำลังจะเพิ่มขยายไฟบินนะคะไปต่างประเทศมากขึ้นโดยที่ใช้ Connect Network กับ Air France ค่ะแล้วก็สุดท้ายที่นอกจากท็อปพิกของ Hsc นะคะที่เลือกตัวเขาเองเขาบอกว่าชอบตัวแบงก์ ACB ตัว FPT เพราะว่าจะเปลี่ยนจากคือถ้าเกิดถ้าเราไปสังเกตตามร้าน Mobile Shop นะคะคือแบบมันไม่มีทางเลยที่ FPT จะแบบชนะ Mobile World ได้อะไรอย่างเงี้ยแต่ว่าตอนนี้เขาจะสปิทตัว FPT ตัวใหญ่เนี่ยเป็น FPT Detail แต่ว่าเขาก็มองว่าตัว FPT เนี่ยซึ่งเขาก็จะเพิ่มพรีเมียมให้ได้จากคอนเซ็ปต์ของคอมพานีที่เปลี่ยนไปที่จะเป็นเหมือนเป็นบริษัทเทคโนโลยีโดยตรงเป็นเอาท์ซอร์สคือแบบจากญี่ปุ่นจากประเทศในยุโรปอะไรเงี้ยที่ค่าแรงแพงเขาก็มาเอาท์ซอร์สคนเวียดนามเพราะว่าเวียดนามก็เป็นอีกประเทศนะคะที่แบบอัตราส่วนประชากรที่เรียนแบบพวกวิศวกรรมเทคโนโลยีเนี่ยจะเยอะจริงๆเยอะกว่าไทยอีกนะคะเขาก็บอกอาจารย์นิเวศได้เคยพูดถึงว่าพวกประเทศที่พัฒนาแล้วในส่วนใหญ่เนี่ยก็เขาจะเน้นไปทางนี้นะคะเหมือนท่านที่นั่งอยู่ก็เป็นวิศวกรกันเยอะนะคะแต่อาจจะเปลี่ยนสายค่ะแล้วก็ AAA นะคะตัวสุดท้ายก็คือตัวจะทำเป็น เรื่องพวกพลาสติกซึ่ง SAI ซึ่งจะมาพูดตอนเซสชั่นบ่ายนะคะก็จะได้มาเล่าให้ทุกท่านฟังนะคะคือ SAI เป็นบริษัทรูปก็เดี๋ยวคงได้รับข้อมูลเพิ่มเติมนะคะ